Another day, another stark warning from a leading medical professional on the need for members of the public to safeguard themselves from the crippling grip of the pandemic COVID-19. The former chief medical officer, pathologist Stephen King, took to social media Friday to plead with his countrymen and women to take this very seriously.
I want you to stay far from people. Stay away from crowds. If you are going to be going out and speaking to people, make sure you either wear a mask if you have one, or alternatively, which may be easier, you tie a rag over to cover your nose and mouth. Make sure that if you're using a rag, when you come home or when you go back in the house, you wash that rag in soap and water. Make sure you wash your hands with soap and water frequently throughout the day, because you can spread the virus to yourself or to others by your hands.
The confirmation of community spread of the deadly virus seems to have been the trigger for the former chief medical officer to issue his latest warning. He dished out his professional tips to the public on what to do in the event of a suspected case of COVID-19.
Make sure that if anybody gets sick in your house, anybody has fever, if they have fever and cough, fever and sore throat, fever and headache, fever and body pains, fever and shortness of breath, make sure you get them to the clinic or to one of the hospitals as soon as you can. The other thing I want you to do is look after your neighbor. So in the community, make sure your neighbor, people in the community have enough groceries, enough food, they have enough essential household supplies and any prescription medications that they may need. This is a time when we must come together to fight this common enemy, this virus, this coronavirus. We can do this together. I have a lot of confidence and faith in my St. Lucian people. I know that we are strong, we are resilient, I know that we are wise. I want us now to exercise this wisdom, this unity to defeat this virus. Do not be distracted. Stay focused on this fight so that you don't become a casualty and your loved ones don't become a casualty. So I'll remind you, stay far from people. Make sure you cover your nose and mouth whenever you're speaking or going out in front of people. Make sure you wash your hands frequently with soap and water. And make sure you look after the people in your community, especially the most vulnerable.
With first world countries wilting under the pressure of this pandemic, what fate awaits nations with historically under-resourced healthcare sectors like St. Lucia's is, to many, a scary prospect. Much of St. Lucia has been transformed to ghost communities, bereft of human activity, but the former CMO is suggesting that as vital as the lockdown is, it will take a lot more to avert the feared worst, which is playing out in much of Europe and the United States. Stanley Lucian for the HGS News Force.